geoholic.
Hey!
We need to be doing the chicken dance.
I know, right?
That's the only thing missing from this trip is a chicken dance.
Absolutely.
The day is still young. Maybe we might be able to fit that in at some point.
Well, I know. Well, we got a late start. We're
Again.
getting going here. It turns out that we have a great mixologist in our hotel who gave us all kinds of great info about the history and where to go to get a good cocktail in
awesome.
Stuttgart. And I had my first anchovy stuffed olive last night.
God,
those were
so
amazing.
good.
Not even an olive fan, and I had like 10 of those things.
They were so good. And I had my first Godfather.
Oh, yeah.
That was whiskey and amaretto.
Yeah, a little Peruvian cocktail from our good friend Hano.
That those two would go together as well as they do.
Also,
I loved it.
Who knew that our Dutch friend Hano at Apclose would introduce you to a Peruvian cocktail that now you're in love with?
I don't even know how half this shit happens that
Right?
happens to us.
I know,
right?
I
It's
know.
amazing. So we are at day 2.
Day 2.
2024.
Yeah. The
Man,
day
oh,
is
man.
quite young. Looking forward to another good day.
Yep. We got some really great interviews lined up already.
Yep.
In addition to the ones we don't even know we're having yet.
Right. Yeah.
Which I'm really, really looking forward to. And the energy in this place today is even more ramped up than yesterday.
Yeah. I think there's a college university section behind us, and I saw just hordes and hordes of students piling in. So maybe we can get somebody like that to stop by and tell us about their experience.
I'm sure we will. Yeah. Lots to look forward to today.
What else are you looking forward to?
Today, breakfast.
I mean, this is the big day, right?
Lunch. I love the food here.
Yeah, I know.
It's like one of the main reasons I could see myself living here is because the food is so good. It's so hearty, and I've already gained 10 pounds.
Well, there's sausage with everything. There's always a sausage option.
Oh man! So that's
might have to have a hot dog today. Might have to have a hot dog.
Maybe we'll do that for lunch.
Yeah.
You can't come here and not have a hot dog.
Yeah, right.
Yep. So, anyways, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah.
And I mean,
forward to another
strap
day.
in for day 2.
Yeah, let's do it.
Good morning.
Good morning. Here we
This is
are.
our first one of day 2.
Yeah.
Super excited to have this conversation. We met Mike yesterday.
That's right.
Briefly, and he was more than excited to join us this morning. So we're excited to hear what he's got to say. Mike, if you would, real quick, self-introduction. Just give us your name, who you're with, and what you do.
My name is Mike Horton. I'm the project creator of the GEODNET network, which is the world's largest RTK network featuring over 9,500 base stations. And it's a really unique RTK network in that it is a user-contributed network. So anyone can set up a GEODNET reference station, add it to the network, and that's how we've been over in 2 years, able to grow to have coverage throughout North America and Europe and over 9,000 stations.
I am very intrigued by this. This sounds like the perfect solution for a lot of people.
It works really well in that people who need coverage can get it. But there's also a big kicker to the whole thing is that when you buy and set up a qualified GEODNET station from one of our 13 distributors, you start to earn money from that. You earn actually a cryptocurrency.
Really?
GEOD token. And the GEOD token has done really well, and it's been really a popular project in the Web3 cryptosphere. So we have kind of 2 communities that set up stations, both traditional, what we call Web2 hosts, which would be folks in agriculture, drones, surveying that are setting up stations to cover areas that they work in, and then they want other people to be able to have access to that data. But also people who are really in it from the crypto mining aspect. They call it satellite mining. You're literally setting up a satellite mining station and mining the various constellations, whether it's GPS, GLONASS, Beto, Galileo. And then that mining station becomes part of the RTK network. And so that's encouraged a lot of enthusiasts in the sort of crypto mining space to join into a geospatial revolution.
This is amazing.
I know, right?
We're not going to get 10 minutes is not going to be enough for this one. We got a lot to talk about. So how long has it been in existence? Did you say 2 years?
Just a little over 2 years.
Okay.
And how many? 90? You said
9,500. I think it's 9,570 I saw on the console today. About 150 new stations get added a week.
Oh, whoa, that's insane.
And what percentage of that is those in the crypto mining space versus you call those more organic ads?
So the organic stations have been increasing as the network has started to get more and more users. Like partnerships like Bad Elf have really helped the network. So and some of Bad Elf's customers have deployed stations, for example, is a good example in the Web 2 space. Another example, DeepCN, which does a lot of auto steering systems for farmers throughout North America.
Okay.
They've about 200 stations have gone up through their network. So it's a good part. That part's growing, but to date, the bulk has been people who are interested in earning GOD cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
And that, put it in perspective, there are, I think, 100 million registered Coinbase accounts. So there are an awful lot of people interested in cryptocurrency.
Right.
And, it's a really good way to make use of the real estate, the internet connection you have. If you have a home without too many trees and a clear sky view, you can set a station up. If you're in an empty, what we call a hex, which is an area that doesn't have a station, you can set a station up and start earning the GOD token.
Really? I think we found your next career. Yeah.
Maybe we did. So talk about the coverage as it currently exists.
So the coverage is the strongest in Europe and North America. And I think in Europe, we're closing in on very complete coverage of all continental Europe. There are a few holes left here and there in places like France that we've been working on filling. But, here in Germany, I think there's 200-300 stations plus in Germany. I've tested the network, some here working perfectly. And even extending into Eastern Europe now, very, very dense coverage network. The United States is a big country with a lot of open spaces. We have a little more work to go there. In the United States, we have great coverage in all the major metropolitan areas and a good bit of the rural areas in North America, especially where there's farming. We have coverage, but there's, Nevada, which is like 90% desert. There's open area in there. So if you go in the middle of Nevada, you're probably not going to get RTK yet. Might be a while.
But if I can get a good internet signal to my desert house in the middle of Nevada, I can start. I can earn.
In fact, some of these rural places we have incentives. So a standard GeoDNet hex, if it's empty and you set up a good station and it performs well, today you'd be earning 24 tokens a day, and the tokens are 25 cents right now at the moment. They change. The token price moves all over the place.
Sure.
But if you go into a region where we have an incentive, where we have what's called a super hex, where we're pushing to get more coverage, it can be double that. So you could be earning 48 tokens a day.
Interesting.
You can do the math on that.
Yeah, that is freaking cool. So what are the requirements to be able to, have a station at your home or business or whatever?
So there are not many. It's permissionless. The main thing is you have to have a qualified piece of hardware. So every GeoDNet base station has a crypto chip in it that certifies the data. So we make sure that people aren't trying to put fake stations in to earn our cryptocurrency. And it's a triple frequency 4-constellation receiver. So it's getting all that. It's NGS calibrated antenna that's got a good mounting kit that goes with it. So it helps people make sure they get a good installation. And then we take a look at the signals. And so your token rewards are one based on being an empty hex. If you're in a hex that has many stations, you'll be splitting it unless you were the first station in there that had good performance. And then you can lock your rewards. Otherwise, if you come in later, you're going to be sharing rewards with other people. So let's assume you came into an empty hex, you set up a station, then you can be earning the full rewards. And the only thing that would reduce your token rewards would be if you're not getting all the satellites and the signal has too much multipath. Or you're having internet outages. And so all of those things will lead to reductions. We call it recurring rewards rate. And that's available. You can see it on our console. So if you go to console.geodnet.com/map, you'll see the map of all the stations. And you can click on any station. You can see how they're doing, how they're performing. You can see all the signals from Galileo, Beto, GPS, GLONASS, all that. And you can see, how that performance of that station is.
What about the internet speed? Does that need to have a?
Not really. You think about it's that. Obviously we want good internet connections. Latency is important, but a normal internet connection is more than enough. A GeoDNet station uploads 15 gigabytes of data a month. So you divide that out.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like 20 kilobits a second. It's not going to affect your YouTube streaming, right? It's not RTK data, GNSS raw data, it's not that high of bandwidth.
Gotcha.
So the main thing is like a good continuous connection. So, if your router is on a UPS, that might be a little better if there's some power outages in your house occasionally. But most places in North America, internet is pretty stable, and that's not really an issue. We have stations in Africa, Latin America. This becomes much more of a challenge. And we depend on, the grid, and the internet services there just are not the same reliability. So one of the things we've been working on that's really exciting is a off-grid Starlink base station. So it's going to have 2 400-watt solar panels, 8 lead-acid car batteries, and a tower. And you can set this thing up, and it should run autonomously, uploading the data over Starlink anywhere that Starlink has coverage without any grid connection. And we think this is going to actually be more reliable than tying into the grid in some of the third world countries where power outages happen like kind of daily, and it's not isolated. It can be like pretty wide area that can use power. So it's even hard to do a redundancy in that case, because redundancy may be, the whole regional area may be out for 3 hours a day, and it's just tough. So we think Starlink's a super interesting solution. It also gets us get onto islands and places that have traditionally just not had an in-trip stream available. Well, we can provide it.
Interesting.
So what's the goal?
So the goal is to provide ubiquitous RTK coverage. So anywhere, RTK now, you've got to think about, hey, I've got to turn on, I got to go log in. I got to figure out who's my course provider. Is there a course provider? What signals does he have? Is it going to be compatible with my receiver in terms of the constellations tracked? Get an account, set it up. It's a pain. What we want to do is have RTK everywhere on the planet. So if I have a GPS, I can get RTK. Everybody can enjoy some interactors. And that's going to help, obviously, people in surveying in the traditional communities. But the big thing is consumer applications. So we're partnered up with a lot of people in robotic lawnmowers. And I think car navigation. Ultimately, why not have some meter accuracy? Wouldn't you like to know what lane you should be in? Right? All these things that precise GPS can enable will happen if there's a good signal that's ubiquitously available. It's just too complicated today. Too many small networks, logins, this and that.
Yes.
Some of them are quite expensive. Having a mass market available network is good, and we're doing it internet style. Think about how the internet's built. It's not one server somewhere. It's like DNS, right? It's a protocol, a collection of servers that form the internet collectively. We're basically building a protocol to connect RTK stations so that the network can grow without one company sort of running the whole project. Anybody can add a station. You put the station up. The next day, if it's well installed, it'll be in the RTK network. Did we do anything? No. A protocol took care of providing PPP, calculating the precise point, figuring out if the station meets the quality metrics to enter into RTK service. All that happens autonomously. No human involvement. That makes the network very scalable and growable.
So it sounds like this is a subscription model.
It is for the user side. So on the mining side, if you're a data provider, you're actually getting tokens, so you're earning. And if you're using, you're going to pay into a provider like Bad Elf will resell GeoDNet subscriptions. The foundation doesn't directly do it. We work through partners. At this INTERGEO, we have many. Probably half a dozen people who are already using GeoDNet reselling it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of those people do it under their own brand. They use the network in order to provide their RTA services. They make money from that. They share a part of that money back with the foundation. The foundation then in turns use that capital to buy back tokens. And
to incentivize people, and then the cycle continues.
And when those tokens are bought back, they're actually sent to what's called the burn address, which means they're removed from circulation. So it's a highly deflationary protocol. As tokens are mined, tokens are burned because people use it.
Because there's an end game. Eventually, you have coverage everywhere, and you don't want to make it infinite.
So as the coverage fills up and the hexes fills up, if you bring in additional miners into a crowded hex, you're not going to earn.
Right.
So that there's a geographic constraint, and then there's also a need to keep the supply and the demand in balance. I mean, imagine if there are 1,000 Airbnbs in a city and nobody visited the city. Well, no one who is putting their homes on Airbnb would make any money. So you got to have that supply and demand. So we control the amount of supply through the geographic constraints, and then we work to build. The foundation works to market. That's why we have a booth here and educating people on GeoDNet. We work to generate demand, which generates revenue, and that revenue then flows back essentially through token burning, through token repurchase and burning back to the people who are running the stations. And hopefully, the token price goes up. I mean, it's not stable because it's crypto, right? Sometimes a lot of people want to sell. Sometimes a lot of people want to buy. There's that factor as well. But in general, there's a forcing function, a steady forcing function of people using the network, which is causing the repurchase of tokens.
And I can assume, correct me if I'm wrong, but the fact that there is an incentive for miners and there's an actual tangible thing associated with it, it causes people to get into and want to buy and trade. And that's what causes some of the volatility, right?
Absolutely.
I'm sitting here with a smile on my face because this is so genius. Right.
Well, I love the lawnmower example of if you really wanted to mow a bunch of grass autonomously, you needed to know where that is. You grab this is the Flex, the Bad Elf Flex.
This is Bad Elf Flex. This is a great receiver for setting up the map for a mower. So you could use this guy to set your boundary, load it up into the mower.
And then get your subscription, and you'll have, relatively accurate enough for the lawnmower to do what you need to do. And you're off and running.
That's amazing. I'm so impressed. So how do people find out more?
GEODNET.com. And we can follow us on social channels. We have a LinkedIn and a Twitter account, or X account as it's called these days. But primarily, I'd recommend GEODNET.com, GEODNET.com. And you can find all about there. And welcome people to set up RTK stations, and welcome people. We have free in-trip accounts for a trial. So anyone can get a 30-day account, give it a try. Yeah. We've had many, many happy users who find, hey, Bad Elf had some guys in Wyoming the other day that couldn't find a network, created some accounts for them, and they were off and surveying. So it's really super cool to have so much coverage and so much availability of a valuable service like RTK.
Yeah, that's really cool. One last question before I let you go. Is there a company here, or is there a company making the Starlink solar-powered autonomous unit that you can stick anywhere and fill in that gap of coverage?
Yeah, so a company, HighFix.ai, is working on it, and you can reach out to them. I've been involved in the design of it myself, looking at it, how to build it, and we're going to have a prototype of it at the Ag Robotics show in where is that show? Sacramento. Yeah. Ag Robotics show in Sacramento coming up in late October, and hope to start fielding these things in early 2025. It's a big unit. It's the 400 watt solar panels are about 3 feet by 2 feet. There are two of those. And then there's a cabinet that's and the tower is attached to the cabinet. It looks kind of like the lunar lander.
Yeah, that's what I envisioned.
Sitting there,
and this is some rough country too. So you got to have, it's not interesting.
I think it's going to be very enabling for things like agricultural robotics, where a robot needs to stay internet connected, so it needs internet and it needs RTK. So this is kind of like a gateway that you can plant somewhere,
right?
We're looking at other payloads we can put up on the tower, including like a weather station, pan tilt camera, a sort of a little autonomous spot. Create some internet bubble.
Yeah.
Create an RTK bubble. Get some other data and bring that to anywhere on the planet that you want, or anywhere the Starlink covers, which is almost anywhere on the planet.
That's pretty cool.
I think we need to have Mike back on for like a full show.
I think so.
I have so many more questions.
Well, I think we're going to get some questions from this segment. But,
absolutely. Well, Mike, thank you so much for your time. This is
appreciate
great.
it. Super.
Really appreciate
great
it.
INTERGEO. And
yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for coming by.
Take care.
Rolling right along here, buddy. Yep. Number 2 for the day.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is going to be a good one. We got a familiar face with us as well as a new friend. So some quick self-introductions, if you would. Andrey, just name who you're with and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Andrey Kleymenov. I'm with Pix4D, Chief Commercial Officer. Actually, I'm new to being a geoholic because I'm just quite new to the industry.
So okay.
Just 2 years.
Perfect.
But,
that's exciting.
It's really an exciting industry to be in. Huh?
Yes, it definitely is. This show proves it, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. All right, Larry, just name who you're with, what you do. Not that people don't already know, but go right ahead.
Oh, well, I'll give it a shot again.
There you go.
Larry Fox here with Bad Elf, VP of Marketing and Business Development, and a certified geoholic.
Oh, that is for
Certified,
sure.
no doubt about it. Yes. And,
How can I be certified?
well,
It takes time, though.
we'll let you know.
It takes time.
We'll let you
yeah.
know. We got to get your name on the banner. All right. So tell us a little bit about Pix4D.
So Pix4D is in business since 13 years.
Okay.
It was established as a photogrammetry company, so to support drones and to process drone data from photos coming from drones. So it evolved quite a bit, and now we see a lot of opportunities with phones. So from drones to phones, if you want.
Okay.
Specifically iPhones. Because the Pro version has this LiDAR sensor. And what we're doing now, we're working on a processing sensor and photogrammetry data from phones to combine into 3D models. So then that's how we started collaboration with a few companies.
Yep.
Because what is missing in the phone is a precision size. Yeah. So you need to complement this little device with an RTK receiver. And obviously, there are quite a few of them, but we decided to select 5.
Okay.
And stop now at 5.
Nice.
We started with Emesent, which is quite known. That Elf was the second one. And today we're announcing a collaboration with Trimble, like in TopCon.
Nice.
And I guess we're going to be, this is going to be it for quite some time. We have enough. I don't think we have any more non-names, let's say non-Chinese in this space. So basically, what the application called Catch is doing is it's creating, processing, as I said, images and RTK data, images and LiDAR data combined with the precision coming from RTK receiver into quite a precise 3D models. So that's what we're doing, and maybe Larry can speak more about how RTK device from that Elf called Flex is enhancing these results.
Absolutely. So it was kind of whiz bang when the iPhone came out and everyone discovered that whole LiDAR sensor, and you could go scan your house and kind of get some basic measurements of this is what my window treatments might look like. I think, when you take an RTK where you're down to a centimeter and you're really tying the actual location of the antenna with a LiDAR sensor, now you could go measure a stock file. You could go look at a pipe in the ground and actually get a very spatially accurate representation of what's sitting in the ground.
Yep.
The cool thing is it actually ties in with augmented reality. So if you've got some line work, if you've got some point data, you could actually see it showing up on the screen while you're scanning. And so now you got both of these going on. And as you folks know as well as I do, we don't document things nearly as well as we should.
Yeah.
And so to be able to get, that whole scan data, point cloud, all the information about what's going in the ground or what's above the ground.
Sure.
That's pretty cool. And to be able to do that with a phone and a GPS versus having to take out a big total station.
Yeah. Yeah. So like for as-builting and stuff like that, right? I mean, it just seems like an amazing solution for stuff like that.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. And it's so easy. We take it out to customers and, they're up and going. And I think I mentioned to one of their marketing folks, I was like, if I could not read the manual and actually successfully do a project, then that's a good combination.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's
so real personal story. I got to ask real quick, trying to build my daughter a tree house, and I need a 3D scan of this big tree. I need to build the tree house in. It sounds like that's what's missing is that location part of because I can make it look kind of like something, but I need something I can give to the architect and they can model my daughter's treehouse in.
And that's a great example because you cannot use a drone. You cannot fly a drone above the tree because you want to see what's below.
Yeah, exactly.
With this thing, you definitely can do this.
Because I want I want to see where to put it inside, and this gives you kind of like the best of both worlds in my hand.
Yeah.
And So correct me if I'm wrong. You get GPS data from the Flex, and then the LiDAR sensor, and then all that up to cloud processes and that's fast by 3D point blank.
Absolutely, yeah.
Can you use the Flex Mini as well?
You can. Right now, we're currently working with Flex. Flex Mini will do around 10 centimeters. We're trying to get down to a really high-end photogrammetric level of accuracy.
Right.
And so,
survey grade.
So we're survey grade, and that's kind of an important distinction. Flex Mini would work with it.
Okay.
It's just you're more going to be in the decimeter level.
Okay. So with Pix40, is it a subscription-based model, or what does that look like?
We have different models. Of course, we prefer subscriptions. Everybody prefers subscriptions.
Yeah.
We have perpetuals, but not on the catch. So we have multiple, but we have desktop software, we have cloud software, and the application. So that's basically the universe of Pix4D, a traditional one. Another exciting thing about Catch is that actually you can combine, software. You can combine drone data with the phone data. So you can start a project with a drone, and then whenever you don't have an RTK signal, or you have not any kind of an inclusion from tree or from any obstacles, you can complement this project with Catch, data capture from Catch, and combine them. So, and this is what was missing in the drone industry. Not to say that you cannot use drones everywhere.
Yeah. And what a great name to Catch.
Yeah, right.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, so what are some other really cool applications that come to mind?
You mean the competition?
What other applications for the the system we're talking about?
So I think documenting that was Larry. So what was Larry saying? The documenting of subsurface utilities is one thing. Underground utilities overall. So and what is fascinating about AR is that you can document as built. Then when you have pavement above the open pit, which used to be there, you can come to the same place. You can use AR and see actually what is underground. Isn't it cool? Huh?
Yeah, amazing.
So one more sort of substantial application for this solution is actually forensics.
Oh yeah, genius.
Documenting, let's say, the accident.
Yep.
So we're working a lot with police to introduce this more often because, again, you cannot fly a drone, you cannot stop traffic for a long time to document the accident. Now here, any police officer with just connecting these two devices can do it pretty fast, and then
So the LiDAR sensor on the iPhone in this case is getting to a point where it's pretty robust, right?
It's definitely it's definitely decent. The biggest piece that was missing was kind of that situational awareness of where are you in the world.
Yeah, right. Exactly. yeah. Very cool.
Well, but with the 30 meters accuracy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is the game changer. This is really exciting.
It's really new, but there are a few challenges here. So first of all, our traditional community of surveyors, right?
Yeah.
For them, phone is not really a surveyor device.
Yeah.
So it still takes time to prove that it's accurate. It can be used. It can be reliable, and it is. Now, if we're moving outside of the survey world, then RTK is not now. So for folks who are just doing trenches, they never. So there is a guy who is coming. Here's a surveyor, so he documents and he puts a mark. Now they can do this on their own. So we're talking about really democratization of surveying on the one hand, and also helping surveyors to save time, to do more work. Relying on somebody doing measurements remotely for them.
Well, and I'm sure you can show the accuracy after the fact. Like if you're, let's say, a contractor and you're putting in pipe, and then you take this to do your as-built. Now you have something you can give to a surveyor that says, okay, here it is, not just, some marks in the field or something on an Excel file. This is something that somebody can then go back and show and prove the accuracy.
That's right. Yeah.
And it might actually be reliable instead of the guy just taking a picture saying, hey, look, it's right there. And the tape measure says it's 3 feet in the ground. No, this is.
And all 3D models are really precise, and you can measure from them. So sitting in the office. Isn't that beautiful? Huh?
Yeah.
So what is the deliverable, or what is the file that is generated by using Pix4D and this application?
Oh, you're seeing a point cloud, obviously.
You get a point cloud. Yeah. And then you can extract points out of there, like in a CAD environment, I guess, or a 2D environment.
You can, but it will also stitch together the imagery as well, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because, now you're just not looking at a drawing with line work. You're actually looking at all the data and the pictures of what went in.
And I'm sure that's where the partnership with Pix4D really helps, because that's what their game was before, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So not to cut you out of the deal here, Larry, but could you connect the Pix4D to GEODNET
Yes, you could.
versus having to have like a piece of hardware?
Well, connecting to GeoDNet would be the RTK service for the GNSS engine. So,
Gotcha.
Would definitely work.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. There's options. There's options. It's flexible.
challenge in the survey world, right? We could make really cool hardware, but it's still got to get a feed from somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
So cool. What else? Anything else you guys want to mention before we let you go?
Well, I guess.
How do they find the application? Just
is it downloadable?
Of course, it's Catch. There's a free version. Anybody can try using this. Then once you need to go to the RTK accuracy, of course you need to pay. Yeah, but you can try it. Huh? It's
very
really
cool.
exciting.
Awesome.
So I have to name drop.
Please do.
And I'm going to name drop Dr. Nick.
Yep. We love Dr. Nick.
Yes.
We miss Dr. Nick here, of course.
Yes, he is a busy man. So reach out to sales@badolf.com.
Okay.
And Dr. Nick would be happy to talk to you more about that.
I'm sure he would.
Oh, man.
He would. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for your time. This has been a great conversation.
Yeah. Appreciate stopping by.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
We're going to be pretty good at this.
Moving right along.
Right?
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of getting the hang of it.
And I love when people come to us. It makes it so much easier.
Yeah, I know.
I'm looking forward to this one. So real quick, what we'll do here, Britta?
Yes.
Okay, Britta. Just give us your name, kind of who you're with and what you do.
Okay, so my name is Dr. Britta Ricker. I'm an assistant professor at Utrecht University in the Netherlands, in the heart of the Netherlands. And I'm in the Copernicus Institute for Sustainable Development.
Okay.
So I'm teaching in a sustainable development program, and I'm teaching the value of mapping. How can we use maps to address sustainable development?
Well, you just hit to the heartstrings of most of our audience, including Mr. Kent here. But tell us a little bit more about what teaching sustainable development is like. What's a typical day?
Right. Okay. So I teach courses like environmental impact assessment and perspectives in sustainable development. I also do research with the United Nations about how do we achieve the global sustainable development goals. And to do that, we've co-developed a textbook that's open access and freely available. You can download it online. And really, this textbook is meant for UN member states that might not have been trained in cartography. It's really a free cartography textbook written all about the sustainable development goals. But through writing that, I recognized, wow, a lot of data are missing. So each country is responsible for curating their own data associated with sustainable development. And then it's shared at the UN level. It's this form of data sovereignty. So as I was making this book and creating all these global maps, I kept thinking, where did these data come from? This is a really important question, I think. Do they all collect it the same way? And what we know is no, they're not.
What type of data are you referring to?
Okay, so the official UN Sustainable Development Goal indicators to measure how far or close we are to the UN, to these UN goals. The UN offers a set of metadata, which is methodology. And so the countries can interpret that as they will. So the research I'm doing right now is actually with the government of Aruba. And how do they collect SDG 15.1.1, which is the proportion of forest cover.
Okay.
And by the UN definition, that only includes mangroves. but they have tropical dry forests that they would also like to be mapping. And so we're looking into how to do that with machine learning and how to customize the algorithms to meet their needs and, count forests that they consider forests. So it's really, really exciting work to be doing.
How did you get into this?
Well, funny you asked. My first job out of undergrad was working with the Federal Emergency Management Agency.
Okay.
Digitizing floodplain maps.
Okay. So what was your undergrad degree?
Geography.
Geography. Okay.
I'm a geographer through and through. I have 3 degrees in all geography.
Okay.
And when along the way did you connect the importance of maps with sustainability?
I think throughout my career that it was very evident, but I think particularly when I worked with FEMA. So with FEMA, I was sent to collect high water marks.
Mhm.
And then I was really listening to the stories of people post-Katrina, post-Rita. And we were asking these questions about, well, which way did the Hurricane Rita come from? Which way did Hurricane Katrina? But the people on the ground had such rich stories about the disaster and how it was affecting their lives now and the resources they needed. And it wasn't just that one acute event that led to some of these problems. It was very complex processes. And so sustainable development tries to address this complexity in an interdisciplinary way. And geography and mapping and surveying and topographic maps, these are all such pivotal, important parts of uncovering some of these complex issues.
Yeah. So you're in a position, it sounds like, to impact a lot of different people and a lot of different things. Did you ever think you would be doing this when you got your first degree in geography?
No. No, I was really interested in international politics. And as you know, one of the courses that you could take as an elective was cartography. And I had a fantastic professor, shout out to Dr. Fritz Kessler at Penn State, who taught cartography and explained how we can use maps to answer really important, complex questions. So it was all about mentorship. And
Oh, that's a great topic for us. We love talking about mentorship. Yeah.
No doubt. So important. So in your daily life, your daily role, like what are some of the cool things you're really excited about right now?
Open data. Just open data and how we can use it and teaching students how they can use it. I think there's so much open data available that's underused and
so true.
undervalued. Yeah.
Yeah. And what about being here at INTERGEO? What are some of the cool things? What are you excited about?
Wow. I'm completely overwhelmed. Is this
your first time here?
This is my first INTERGEO.
Okay. All right.
So I've been using drones for 6 years or something, but just seeing the diversity of drones available and the blimp going over and just all the technology coming at you from left to right. And then hearing the really exciting challenges that these technologies are helping us to answer. And then also the software. So I'm running into all these problems and challenges, analyzing the data. And then there's so many software vendors who are here right there solving some of these problems. So it's exciting to meet like-minded people.
Yep, definitely. So we were chatting a little bit before you sat down with us, and you were saying that the Netherlands is advanced in so many ways.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Compared to the States, anyways.
Yes.
What are some things that stick out?
The Netherlands is about the size of New Jersey. They have a rich history in cartography and surveying. It's a very organized government. So they have a organization called Cadastre that manages all assets, that manages all the spatial data. And if it's not sensitive, it's open. So which is really fun as an educator to play with that. But it's not just above ground assets, it's also below ground assets. So it's really important that if I dig in my backyard or right in front of my house, I'm not going to hit wires or pipeline. A lot of there's no electricity.
Subsurface utilities.
Exactly. There's it's much more prevalent to have your power lines below ground in the Netherlands and above. So it's, and I mean, this mapping has been being done for hundreds of years.
So they have good records.
Really good records.
Okay. Unlike the States.
And,
right.
And spatial data infrastructure is such a huge part of that. They're really thinking about, okay, how does the infrastructure work to make sure that the data gets to the right people?
Yeah. So how about surveyors in the Netherlands? Is there a need? Like in the States, there's a massive shortage. What does it look like in the Netherlands from a surveyor perspective?
In surveying perspective, I'm at the I'm not at the forefront of it,
Okay.
but I know there are some really great programs. And also the United Nations is launching a new Center of Excellence in Bonn, Germany for GeoOdyssey. Because they're recognizing the need for training worldwide.
Yeah.
And I think that's true.
I got to look into that.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Brand new.
Yeah. What else you got, Sean?
Man, I don't know. I'm thinking all about you were talking about the geospatial programs in the Netherlands. Talk a little bit about that compared to, you said there's a lot, and especially the education programs that are there. How is it different from other countries in the U.S.?
Sounds like you should travel around a little bit.
Yeah. So the educational system in the Netherlands is completely different. There's a lot more. They call it high school, but it's really technical training programs that are really specialized in geodesy and also surveying, mostly surveying.
At the high school level?
It would be like community college or a technical
like
training
a trade
program,
school?
like a trade school, but highly specialized. And they have them for all kinds of things, but the surveying is one of them.
Yeah. There's just so much that the states can learn from countries like the Netherlands.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the things that we talk about.
I know
is a need and apprenticeships and all these things, and it sounds like there's already an infrastructure and a model in other countries.
Yeah,
exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
What else are you excited about?
What are you excited about? What's going on next 5 years?
Wow, that's a hard question. I guess I'm just so overwhelmed by all this technology and thinking about, how could we implement this in countries that really need to do this data management and data collection.
So it sounds like you like being like the academia realm of things. Is there something else that you would love to do that you haven't had the opportunity to do yet?
I think, I'm curious about interfacing more with industry and how we can collaborate more between academia and industry in terms of coming up with creative solutions to problems. I think this what I'm noticing at this industry event is that it really is geared towards urban infrastructure, and I'm curious what other clients could benefit from this technology that might not be here today. These are questions I'm thinking about.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, Britta, thank you for your time. Really enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah, it's really outstanding.
Enjoy
the rest of the show.
Really look forward to listening to your podcast and everyone you've talked to here.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks.
Well, lunch was great.
Yeah, a little after lunch.
Yeah.
I mean, what did we do? Sausage with
Sausage,
the gravy,
and fries, and gravy, all the stuff you're supposed to eat.
Might have snuck in a beer there, you know.
Sean made me shotgun 2 beers. It's like the guy, he drinks at a pace that I just can't keep up with.
It was me that suggested that.
But I'm feeling much more, I'm refreshed. I'm good now.
Re-energized.
Everything is
right?
good. Yeah.
Excited about this.
We're going to have a good conversation here. So real quick, let's do a quick self-introduction. Just give us your name, who you're with, and kind of what you do.
Sure. I'm Jeroen Zanen. I'm founder and CEO of AI-Infrasolutions. We have 2 booths at the conference, one in Hall 3 and one in Hall 5.
Oh, divide and conquer. I like that.
Yeah, and today we launched our 150 megapixel camera developed together with Stemmer Imaging, which is a great thing. And we launched today.
Did you say 150 megapixel?
Yes, I did.
Oh my gosh. I mean, is that beyond high resolution? What is that? I mean, what does it even equate to? I don't know.
Well, at the end of the day, it's about the use case, right? So you get extra information that a lot of customers need.
Yeah.
It's not so much about the pixels, it's about what is the information that you get out of the sensor, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, a lot of companies forget about it. It's about the end user working with insights and working with data. Yeah. So it's about their user experience. It's about their workflow.
Okay.
And by the end of the day, they don't care how they receive the data. If it's, let's say, kept with a rocket or with a mobile mapping car, they don't care as long as they can rely on the quality of that information.
Sure. So tell me again what your company does exactly. Do you build hardware?
No, we are an AI first company.
Okay.
So in short, I think I should share a little bit of the background.
Yeah,
perfect. This explains a lot.
Yep.
So in 2018, we started the company. And with the vision, there are so many mobile mapping cars all around the world capturing data. But what do they do with the data? Well, what we learned really quickly is a lot of manual work. They get the information out of the mobile mapping data sets. So, okay, let's solve that problem. Let's use AI to get the information out in a different way, so faster. Still connect with the professional, right?
Mhm.
Make sure that they integrate the information in their workflow. And then, you optimize really for them. And you make it a little bit, you bring it further. So the assumption was for the Dutch market, like there's enough more mapping cars. There are big companies already, let's say, capturing data. Contractors, engineering companies invested a lot in the hardware.
Yeah.
So come with the data. So we received all kind of data sets, but what we quickly learned, we were spending more time in repairing the data if possible than really focusing on building the AI models. So some data sets were good, but they were different all the time. Some poor data sets, some of really bad quality.
Okay.
But if you develop AI models, if the data is different all the time, you can forget about AI. You need consistent data.
Because it's going to throw the AI off, actually.
Well, hey, how does it learn?
It's going to
if
confuse the AI.
It gets a bad book. It's going to
what it
learn
is.
poorly. Yeah.
It continues to be manual work. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
So, well, okay, as an entrepreneur, what do? Let's buy a mobile mapping car, right?
Sure.
Let's figure this out.
Let's see. So, okay, put the sensors on the roof, and we were lucky that we could hire some really experienced mobile mapping people.
Okay.
That helps, of course.
Yeah.
But that's how the journey started. And then we learned that mobile mapping is way more difficult than we expected up front. It was not our problem by the end of the day because we were only doing the translation at the end.
Mhm.
But now we understood the quality of the different data sets.
Yeah.
Or the poor quality most of the times.
Yeah.
So by developing, so you have to pick the sensors. You have to make sure that people forget about logistics. If you capture data for a project, that's pretty clear, right? That's area. You have to do that area, capture it, and come back. But if you do let's say a whole area of a whole state or a whole province or a whole country, you cannot forget one or two rows, right? It's more complex. So the logistics are more complex. It's about a lot of data. So how can you, at the end of the day, where does the data go?
Yeah.
Right. Again, for a project, it's doable. But if you talk about nationwide capturing, it's a lot of data. So what we also learned was that most of the times the data sets was living at a place where also other continents could enter that data.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a clearinghouse for people to.
But where does data live, right?
Yeah.
So I think data should live in a country where it's captured.
Sure.
Yeah.
If it's captured in Germany, it should be a data warehouse in Germany, and the capture company is controlling the data.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And it's the same if you go to Egypt or you go to Australia. It should live locally. So what we said, okay, in order to help the market of this, we need a local situation where you can really do the refinement in a local data warehouse. So that's a process that we automated completely.
Yeah.
So long story short, is we automated all the steps in the mobile mapping process. But the difference is, go nationwide, capture once, but look at everything. That's what you can do with AI. So capture once, look at everything, and then the next year you look at change detection.
Yeah. So these companies that are doing the collections, right? It's not just one company, I'm assuming. It's
for us in the Netherlands, we do everything ourselves, end to end in the Netherlands.
Okay.
But in other countries, our customers are mobile mapping companies.
Oh, okay.
So what we do in the Netherlands, end to end ourselves, is our customer in another country. Where at the end we still deliver the AI solutions and the translations into information.
But the data stays in that country.
Yes. And also our AI models also live in that country, which is
really,
and why is that? Because if you have, let's say the models of the traffic signs in the Netherlands, for example, those are Dutch traffic signs.
Yeah.
So if we would go to the UK or the United States, they are different.
And I'm guessing that AI model is kind of useless for that purpose in a different country. Is that right?
No, it's depending on the asset, but in this case,
tweaked a little bit.
Yeah, because let's say the most important part is that you are able to get automatically out of all those data sets the location, right? So you find them. Well, that is what a model will be capable of. So you can reuse really important components that are really difficult to develop, but you can reuse them, but you retrain let's say parts of the model because it's
Okay.
different.
Yeah. So the trees are you can use that interchangeably, but
also
like street signs and stoplights
that are unique to that region or that. Yeah.
But trees exactly right.
Yeah.
So trees are also the different angles, right? There's a different tree. So look, it's always what is the asset and where is it, and really accurate, right?
Mhm.
And then you have all these classes of information that a lot of professionals are interested in.
Yeah.
So, but per country is different. So we are it makes complete sense to, let's say, place our AI models at the end, and then work with the data that is captured by, let's say, our partners, the mobile mapping companies in other countries.
Yeah. So I love that question, but so it stays in the country, but where does that data live? And I really have two questions. But the other one is, how big are we talking about to mobile map an entire
file size,
country? Yeah, like what are we talking about here? Like, give me some
So,
scale.
so the Netherlands is a really small country, right? So on a yearly basis, you talk about petabytes.
For a very small country.
Yeah.
That's very small country. Yeah. So you do it year over year, but I think from the environmental, let's say it's really crucial that you have a good opinion. Okay, what is the data that I still store, and what do I throw away?
Mhm.
And can I store it in a smart way, compress or
Oh,
only the information, right? So there are a lot of levels in how you can store your data and keep your data. But it's something that is not to underestimate. I completely on the same page. You need to have a data strategy. Okay, what do we do and why?
Yeah. So what's the quality control process like?
So multiple steps, of course, during the capturing, right? After the data is refined, it's published. That's a moment. But also when the lenses, what we do is sampling. We follow ISO standards. So the easiest way how we convince new customers is that they say, look, we have this area. We just did everything in this area. So we know everything. So proof. Then we say, okay, we already have the data. So the only thing that I have to tell you is I have to look up when did we capture the data. Oh, it's 3 months old, for example.
Right.
But I bring you the traffic signs this evening. I can send it to you. Then it's quiet. But it's possible. Well, it is because it's AI. So we already have the data. So I will send it to you. And then you convince people because then you do sampling together, right?
Mm-hmm.
They already have their knowledge. They compare. Yeah, and then they see, okay, this is something we should work with.
Yeah. Interesting.
So who are your clients typically?
Well, end users, most of the times, always government bodies, right? Nationwide, the provinces, water boards, municipalities, but a lot in between, which is contractors, specialists, specialists in traffic science, specialists in facilitation. So all the different specialists, utility companies, fiber to the home, telcos. It's like there are 12 verticals. The mobile mapping data you can deliver to, but then of course you can go as deep as you can have an end-to-end solution. For different verticals.
And I'm curious about with the different municipalities. So that's usually your end client. Are they sophisticated enough to take your data and use it, or do they need to go through consultants to help, or
or do they purchase the data?
Yeah, do they use it, or do they go through somebody else?
One of the biggest problems is in this world is the data is most of the time there. It's about getting accessibility to the data, right? That's
okay.
So much time the problem.
Yeah.
So then even within the municipality there is already information, but it's about sharing. It's about knowing where to look. Sometimes it's about hierarchy, right?
Okay.
So I think, but the accessibility integration with existing data sets be not too close, but also semi-open, right? So you can interact with let's say, drone data or satellite data. It makes complete sense to mix those data sets for the right use case.
And do you get it in that mixing? Do you ever get into the case where the historical is not matching up with what you have?
I would say almost always.
Yeah, like they just don't, from 20 years ago, and now you just mapped it. How do you work through that?
No, like I said in the beginning, because those data sets are, let's say, pretty poor always, right?
Yeah.
But you have some templates where depending on the capturing companies, right? So there are also good capturing companies, of course,
right?
So we can with templates just integrate it, and that makes sense. But if it's poor, if the data is poor and the data is old, that's almost normal.
So you just released a new camera. That's pretty exciting. What's next? What are you excited about in the next 1 to 3 years?
I think going more to embedded. So let's say what will happen. So now a lot of things still is happening in the data warehouse, right? A lot of calculation power, storage power. I think there's a lot to optimize towards, that we only save the most important pixels. Think pixels. At the end of the day, we are kind of controlling pixels, right?
Yep.
So imagine this 150 megapixel, this 360 photo that we have with a lot of pixels. Most of the times we're only interested in 2 or 3% of the photo. And then we shoot per second or per 5 meters, we shoot another one, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pixels we're not really interested in at high definition. So can we, let's say, control only the objects of interest at a high resolution, and then the rest compress at a level that our human eyes still can, it's a photo, and I see the context still.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to win there. But then also, I see this become the search engine of the objects of the outside world.
Interesting.
2 to 3 years from now, you will have a search engine, the professional, and you just type in what you need, and we will be able to provide it. And we want to do the same for our customers in other countries. So if you're capturing with us, you just have that information at hand, but for the professional in their workflow. So for the end user.
So it's like the search engine is not looking for word matches; they're looking for picture or pixel matches.
Yeah, exactly.
To that, and
you
that's wild.
And you as a professional, you just say, okay, what do I need? And it's my workflow. So if it's about park management, it's a different workflow than you do vegetation management, or you have to, let's say, to design a whole roundabout. You have different needs.
Yeah.
But what if you just say, okay, what's the situation? Oh, and then you see them pop up, and it's a high level of quality.
That's future stuff.
I know, right?
Right? That's amazing. So you're doing this in other countries. You're nailed down Netherlands, right?
We nailed down Netherlands. We are rolling out now. So we have so many great conversations during this conference.
Nice.
And basically what we can do as the first step is bring, let's say, their local, well, maybe say Google, right? So the local Google that's controlled locally.
Yeah.
And then with the vision, guys, okay, let's make sure we get all this information outside. We have it under control so that we are able to compare data set over data set. Sometimes you drive more often, but you need to be able to compare.
Yeah.
I think with low-end sensors like desk cams or cheaper, let's say, capturing sensors, you need to be able to do, let's say, more updates during the year.
Yeah.
And if you think about sustainability, just put it on cars that are already driving.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the timing component is really interesting. You can add to.
So this mapping or this data that you're collecting, I mean, can it be used for autonomous vehicles?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So navigation, right?
Yeah.
The accuracy is there really crucial. Right. But I'm still convinced that that might change in the future, that you need this high quality data set on a yearly basis, where that updating is done by the autonomous driving by the vehicles. Right. And
it's constantly
and if something is lost or is not there anymore, you get a signal, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or do you ever see it where you mentioned dash cams? Like if I buy a dash cam from you guys and you'll pay me, you'll give me a discounted dash cam and I'll give you the data forever. And then that, 1% of the people that do that, and then you've got that fix that that updates.
Yeah, look, and then Google uses like Waze, right? It's a community that is just driven by, if and a change on the road, I'm gonna.
But they're using all that, not just for you, but for everyone else.
Yeah, so but I'm here with you, and I think those sensors will become smaller and smaller as well.
Yeah.
So it's also more easy for companies to give that to help us, and yes, maybe do a rev share there or whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's wild.
Wow, my head is spinning.
Okay, but now we dream a little bit more. Now we
Let's do that.
8 years from now, 9 years from now.
Perfect.
We're going to ask questions to a data set. With Gen AI, we will be able to ask, okay, guys, with this environment, we know the historical data sets. We know what's outside. We know about what tree and even the history of the tree. So, but this roundabout, this is, where is it unsafe? And this is the most risky and why.
Yeah.
Okay, redesign this for me.
Yeah.
Or make this more sustainable. Okay, so this whole city center, make it more sustainable, like smarter driving or smarter parking.
Yeah.
And that will be calculated.
Yeah.
But you need to have the historical data. You need to have the
So it's going to generate solutions like
it'll find the problems and generate solutions because it can see the pattern.
It's JetGPT moment of this market. I think it's 8-9 years from now. But we need calculation power.
Yeah.
That's the big.
That's not that far, though. Really?
It's close.
That's crazy.
And all that does is it pushes.
Sweet. You're not going to need engineers anymore.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They just turn into data miners and guys that collect all this stuff and figure out how to analyze it for the machine to design it, not the designer.
Yeah,
And it's more about designing the model to get there,
it goes to the next level, right? So it goes to the next level.
Yeah.
Because I feel still with the to make the decision as of today with so many data points is really complex, but that will become more easy. So you have less risk, you make less mistakes, and less cost that you do that you can afford to do.
Well, you spend all your time on QC, not on doing the actual model or doing the actual design, which is where the human part should be focused more on.
Yeah. Amazing. Really good stuff. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Sitting here in the shadows, not saying anything, but thank you for the introduction. It's been amazing.
And, congratulations on the new launch and everything.
Yeah, awesome. Yep. Have a good next couple of days, of course.
Thank you very much.
Fast and furious this morning.
Oh, it's a sprint.
Yeah. Well, I guess
it's
afternoon.
to the finish.
Afternoon now.
Oh, yeah.
We should probably have something to eat at some point.
At some point, yeah.
Another great conversation lined up here. So real quick, Mike, just if you would, just give us your name, who you're with, and what you do. I know you've been on before, but...
Yeah. So I'm Mike Workman. I'm the sales director for Emesent. I'm the sales director for Emesent. I'm looking after the EMEA region. So I look after Europe, Africa, the Middle East, and the former CIS regions as well.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and you guys, there's been a lot going on with Emesent.
Yeah, it's been a very busy year for us. So we've got continued growth into Europe. We've added 2 new people to our team. We've added a technical resource as well that's based in Sweden. And then obviously we've launched some new products to increase our versatility. It's been the focus for this year. And look towards solutions as well.
Yeah. So talk about that a little bit. The versatility is a big thing.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the key of what we do really is making one system that's versatile across a whole different number of platforms, whether that's drone mounted, which is obviously where we came from with our autonomy, backpack mounted now, you could be backpacking RTK, which we'll talk about in a little bit, handheld, vehicle mounted as well. So vehicle RTK came out a number of months ago as well. And then 360 colorization as well has been launched this year. And then Aura, which is our platform for processing, has increased in its versatility and also its functionality as well. So it's been a really busy year, like kind of, building on what we've got already. So adding those additional features that our customers and our clients really need.
Yeah. So you mentioned RTK a couple times there. So obviously, location is a big part of the direction you guys are going.
Absolutely. So everybody loves SLAM scanners. They're so quick. They're efficient. The accuracy is increasing as well. But you need to georeference that data to actually get something of not used, but, you can work with non-georeferenced data, absolutely. But to get the best out of it, you're looking at georeferenced data. We introduced GCPs a while ago, so we can can georeference our data using GCPs ground control points. But you typically need to install those in ground control.
Sure.
You've got to georeference them. And either that by total stations, by existing point clouds, or by GPS. So the requirement for us to look at something a little bit more usable and a little bit more function. So we introduced the backpack RTK. First we did the vehicle RTK, and then we introduced backpack RTK. And that's new for this show here. So that's a new launch. This gives us the ability to walk outside with georeferencing the data, obviously getting the RTK correction. But when we go into areas that GPS denied, the SLAM kicks in. So the SLAM's geo-correcting, if you like. We pop out at the other side of whether it's a tunnel, whether it's a subway, for instance, and hey presto, we georeference again. So that the entire model is georeferenced. It's absolutely
That's amazing.
Awesome for us.
Yeah.
Really good.
So you're saying, you can start on one side of the tunnel, walk through and get on the other side, and there's no...
Absolutely. We did a trial in Stuttgart city centre where we started externally. We did around the square, and then we went down into the subway, through the subway, mapped the subway entirely, and then came up the other end, and hey presto, we've got a georeference model. So
that's cool.
That's awesome. So the GPS component, are you guys manufacturing the hardware for that, or do you have a partner that you work with?
So we get asked, that's a very good question. So typically we've led with the MLID is the solution that we've gone to first. And that's because of its cost, its price bracket, actually. But we have a lot of our resellers around the world, the Trimble resellers as well. So we're doing some trials, and we're about to launch the port for the R12, the R10. So a range of Trimble receivers as well. and then we'll add more. That's our first point of call. We'll look at Leica receivers next. We'll look at more additional receivers further down the line as well. Once we know how to manipulate the data sets and the strings that are coming out of that particular receiver, then we can make the changes that we need to do to support a lot more, which is,
Interesting.
Very.
So, what do you think? What have you heard so far about positives from the backpack RTK?
A lot of positives over the last, now the third day. It's because of what it does. I mean, SLAM scanners are awesome, and they're awesome in their own right, and they create fantastic point clouds where everybody now is moving to that next step of intensive colorization and georeferencing.
Yeah,
and this is just such a step forward. Not to have the ability to put ground control points out. Obviously, in a tunnel below ground, you're still going to need that. There's no way around that. That's in our mining environment. That's going to happen. But above ground, it's just the simplicity of the SLAM scanner now with the simplicity of georeferencing. All you need is a mobile phone. You connect to the receiver. Boom, boom, boom. Streaming RTK data, and hey, presto, you've got a georeference point play.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about you said the 360 color.
360 colorization.
Yeah.
So we've brought that out as well. Typically, we used to have a perspective view, so single lens, but that's obviously restricted from a colorization point of view and a field of vision. So obviously 360 was a definite requirement for us. So we're supporting the 360 Max. We are looking at other cameras as well to integrate. But there's a new Max coming out as well. I think that's towards the end of the year. There's a new GoPro coming out. This sounds quite exciting, to be fair. We can now colorize the point cloud as well. And then we're going to start embedding images. We've still got the video that our clients can look at, which are all very useful tools when you're looking at a point cloud.
Right, yeah.
Talk about the software package and the improvements that have been made there.
Aura. So there's a lot of things we're doing with Aura. So we started from the bottom and built up. So we've introduced some key features to our Commander app as well. We've gone with a new release on that. We're looking at data compression as well. So when we download the data from the back of the scanner now, we're looking at a 90% compression ratio. So we can offload, instead of it taking 4 or 5 minutes, it's now 10, 15, 20 seconds. Nice. There's a lot of things that we've done. Aura is starting to have more functionality. We've introduced convergence monitoring as one step, for instance, better colorization, additional just support for the entire packaging, how Aura looks as well in its workflow. It's still a very simple tool to use, and that's what we need to maintain as well, that it is not super complicated.
Yep.
And when we're bringing the data in the workflow, it's streamlined as well.
So, you guys are doing some amazing stuff. When you walk around this event, you go through the different halls and that type thing. What are you gathering from that? Are you oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. That's something we should think about.
There's lots of great ideas. It'd be fantastic if all the manufacturers got together and created one product, but it's not going to happen. What Leica's doing is fantastic. What Trimble are doing is fantastic. What some of the other users out there as well is doing is fantastic. But we all take our own paths, and we all try our best. Maybe one day we all might sit in a big room and
and maybe on the software side of maybe this we talk about the democratization of GPS. Well, maybe let's all collaborate on. Everyone needs point cloud deliverables and processing, and everyone's doing it slightly differently. But in the end, it's still grabbing a deliverable and getting that somehow. It's almost like you want that universal if possible, because then it doesn't matter what you buy or how you use it, or anyone can kind of get it from the same spot.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing we've done with Aura as well, if you'll notice, is we have given the ability to export into different formats, which means it can be consumed by a lot of software.
Yeah.
I've always been a firm believer in that. From my experience, if you're used to a piece of software and you're comfortable in that software, it's more difficult to change from that software.
Yeah.
It's not like buying a new car. You're working comfortably in that software. And years and years and years ago, I worked with a particular piece of software that was on floppy disks. I'm old. I'm very old. And I protected these floppy disks like they were gold dust, because this platform was super important to me as a civil engineer and surveyor. So, and like Aura now, as where we're at with Aura, we prepare the point cloud. We clean the point cloud. We remove them. We've got moving object filters as well now. We prepare that point cloud to be consumed by whichever third-party software that people want to use, because it's that difficult change. I don't want to step out of my comfort zone. I know how to create a point cloud. I know how to create a deliverable from this, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very cool. Is there anything else we haven't given you the opportunity to say and talk about? You guys got some really cool stuff going on.
Yeah, and
I can tell you're excited.
There's a lot more to come in the near future.
Yeah, what can you give us? I know you can't let open the door, but
You're so bad asking people that question.
we won't.
You put them back into a corner.
of course, that's what people want to know. What's coming out?
We won't stop innovating. That's a fact. And next year's going to be a fantastic year for us as well. There's a lot to come from us.
It's exciting.
Yeah,
Very cool.
I'm guessing the backpack is going to turn into something I put in my pocket, or maybe the hat that just has it's got to get smaller and easier.
Smaller,
and
no doubt. Lighter.
Smaller, easier, lighter, and more accurate, more data. It's a fun time.
You act like you've talked to people about this type stuff before.
I know, exactly.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, Mike,
Great to
thanks
see
so
you
much.
again. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, that's good. That's a good way to start. Yeah, we're off and running.
Oh, okay.
Too much fun. No, they're just the right amount of fun.
Just the right amount of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much fun might happen like 3 hours from now, but
Yeah, right. I'll leave that in the background.
right now we're good. Yes. Wrapping up day 2.
Day 2 wrap up. It is the big day.
2024. It was a big day.
Big day.
Yeah.
2024 INTERGEO. Big day Wednesday.
You know when there's beers on your table that aren't even opened yet?
Yeah.
It's going to be, it's a big day because
Yeah.
you've tapped out at that point, right?
Yes.
Essentially.
I think I saw the most beer / pretzels out on, they set up, it had to be thousands of beers.
It was insane. I got some good pictures.
Yeah.
We'll be sharing those
we'll
for
be sharing
sure.
those. Yeah.
But it was an amazing second day.
Yep.
I don't want to say it was better than the first day, but it was equally as good.
Yeah, it was definitely equally
Our
as
first
good.
interview, I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag because it was unbelievable.
Yeah. It
And there's
really
a future
was.
partnership in the
We
works.
already got a future partnership
as a result.
there.
And
Yep.
it's like, I don't even want to say anything about it until that future partnership is in place.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's so exciting.
It's incredible.
Really cool.
My head was spinning after the first interview today.
I know. And then ever since then, quality guests throughout the day. So as much as you want to disclose, we did this yesterday. What was your highlight of today?
Oh, you know what? What was my highlight of the day? First, I mean, again, I hate to overblow the first interview, but it was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of put my head in a tailspin for the rest of the day
Yeah.
in a really good way.
In a really good way.
Yep. So you guys, you just gonna have to wait to find out more about that because it's going to be an amazing partnership.
Yeah.
And it's going to benefit everybody.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
absolutely. Yeah.
But other than that, we've had, you know what, for me, the highlight is just being able, again, we're so fortunate to have this opportunity and talk to people from literally all over the globe. And it's so humbling. It's humbling. It's exciting. You talk to people and, talk about their struggles wherever they are. It's the same struggles we have in the States.
Yep.
Talk about the stuff they're excited about. It's the same stuff we're excited about in the States,
I talked to a couple guys from Finland, and just about the only thing I could understand with their accent was get kids into survey, and we go to the high
So
schools
awesome.
and tell them the kids to get into surveying, and that's so universal. It spreads across.
Crazy.
It's really amazing to meet people and helping connect with them. And it's been an awesome day. God, I don't know. I mean,
and we had red sausage and fries with gravy.
Oh yeah.
That was amazing.
Nice little traditional German lunch.
Yeah, and a couple beers, of course.
Yeah.
You got to do that.
Yeah,
it's part of the culture.
Mhm.
Yeah, we don't want to buck culture.
Yeah, and there's lots of good networking happy hour events.
Trimble had a blowout.
today.
Hexagon.
Yeah.
Again, these are our sponsors, so it's really easy to mention them, and they were so hospitable to us.
Oh, absolutely. It's really
of course,
easy.
the guys at Bad Elf, love those guys. Always got something cool going on. And Esri stopped over at Esri, had a beer.
Had a beer.
You can't say no when Esri's you guys want a beer? All right, yeah, well,
they're
beer.
just so nice.
Everyone's so nice.
And we're at that point where they are starting to kick us out. So
yeah, they're like, you Go.
Yeah, right.
You're the last ones here. Get the hell out of here.
Ones here. You can see
Take your beers.
nobody
and
else
go.
walking around. It's starting to get dark here. So, anything else before we wrap up?
No, man. It's been a great day. Thanks for doing this, man. It's been a great trip so far. I can't wait for tomorrow.
We got one more awesome day.
Tomorrow's going to be really busy.
Oh yeah. Tomorrow we probably do more interviews tomorrow than anywhere else.
Yeah, so. It's going to be a big day tomorrow. So we probably should go home and go to bed right now.
We're right away.
It's probably not going to happen.
Anyway.
Highly doubt it. All right. Follow our social media for more. Instagram, LinkedIn, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Peta does a great job.
Yep, Peta's doing awesome. Keeping posting. And we've got some, we wait till the morning in the U.S. to do a little live stream here. But, as soon as we can, we'll get all the interviews posted. And, keep in touch.
Oh, and notice the cool new hats, guys. They will be available soon.
Yes, we can't wait. Yeah.
Till tomorrow.
Till then.
Have a great day.
See ya.